Excuse me. I happened to be passing, and I thought you might like some coffee.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Well, won't you sit down?
Thank you. Cream?
No, thank you. I take it black. Like my man.
Blasphemy! This is madness! This is a
Step into the twisted mind of my literature, designed to get into the depths of your mind. Administer sickness around to mimic the lights of snuff cinema. What you must get into, you're nothing but pups. Remember you Homer and Happy Simpson, son. Nothing Ithaca. Stalkers like the northern half of Korea's peninsula. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister.
Alright, your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth, and it is January 9th, 2024. We are rolling along. I got to thank my guests from last week, my supporters, and everybody for watching the show last week. Last week I had my legal guys on, Kenneth Diesenhoff and Robert Resnick. It was First Tuesday. The first Tuesday of the year was First Tuesday, so I want to thank those guys for coming on. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with me. Tonight's guest is Richard Ripley, as you see up in the upper left-hand corner, but let me get into my sponsors before I let him introduce himself. Michael Douglas, Barretto Electronics, MDB Electronics. If you have a controller that needs to be fixed, drifting or broken, send it up to MDB Electronics. He'll have it back to you within 48 hours. You'll be back to gaming. Vianna Marie's music, 494,000 streams on her library. It's Personal was the last album. She released a Christmas project, a couple of Christmas songs this Christmas, and she's got an event that she's going to be announcing that's going to take place on Valentine's Day. So Vianna Marie, It's Personal is the album. 494,000 streams. Make sure to check her out on all the streaming sites everywhere. Tactical Target Systems. When you see me go to the range to get some time in, tactical targets, those zombie targets are the ones that you see me with, life size. Check them out. Tactical Target Systems. You can order those there. Also, I Love Boston Sports. Got a chance to win a shirt in the chat. And Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Ladies, if you feel like you want to take some special photos for a special someone and be put in a comfortable, safe setting, Kimberly Ann is the person for you. Also, this year, 2024, new sponsor, Underwatch Protective Services, Mobile Patrol, Foot Patrols, Armed Guards, Unarmed Guards, Event Security, and Private Security. Reach out to Daryl Smith, CEO, Underwatch Protective Services. Thank you for coming on as a sponsor for 2024. And before I get into the news booth, I'm going to get into this interview with my first guest. But before I mention my first guest, if you guys see the banner right there, today is National Law Enforcement Day. So if you know a police officer anywhere in the city of Brockton or anywhere where you live, make sure you shake their hand, buy them a coffee or something. There's a few hours left to today. National Law Enforcement Day. We got a lot of people in the chat. Billy Atwood, what's going on? Felicia, what's going on? I see you in the chat. And I've got my first guest on with me right now. I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's been, I actually met him at an event a few months ago. Vote 48 was the event that I held, and he showed up here. He actually ran for mayor, but I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell you what he's got going on. Let's let him introduce himself. So, Richard, please introduce yourself for the people who are watching.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, my name's Richard Ripley. I call myself the Bat Bus Guy. I have a show on Brockton Community Access. The issue is the issue is on the Bat buses. It started back in February, and I reported 80 individual incidents of bus drivers driving illegally and dangerously to threaten passengers' lives. I reported everything to BAT and the mayor's office, and in the last few months to the city council and State Representative Mendez and State Representative Michelle Dubois. And the problem is, I reported all the incidents, and eventually I had 5 individual independent investigations done that confirmed, each one confirmed that I was right. They all admitted that there were safety violations. The drivers are driving illegally. The drivers were found guilty, and they were disciplined. But the problem is, this has been going on for so long, and they're very serious incidents. Let me tell you one incident. It's the most egregious incident of all. I was on the bus. I was driving home, and the bus was going by the West Middle School. It picked up a 13-year-old kid. A 13-year-old kid. The kid got on the bus, and the bus driver immediately shut the doors. The kid was stuck between the doors of the bus and where the driver sits, standing in front, facing the windshield of the bus. The kid was scared. He was there. He had his knapsack on the windowsill of the bus. He was trying to fish through it on a moving bus now. The bus is driving down West Elm Street, and that lasted for probably maybe 5, 6, 7 blocks, maybe 8 or 9 blocks before the driver finally had to stop in traffic and the kid could go to the fare box and pay his fare. Now, if the bus driver had to hit the brakes on that kid would have been seriously hurt and would have been right through the windshield. And I have 80 separate incidents of things happening just like this. And anyway, I reported everything to the city. I begged and I pleaded with Mayor Sullivan, with BAT, with my city councilors, please do something, issue a public statement on this to warn the people so they can be prepared and protect themselves. Anyway, the city refuses, BAT has refused, the city council refused. They're all hiding behind a Berlin Wall of silence that they created to keep me quiet because I don't have money to fight them. All I have is my voice. I'm just a retired guy who was trying to enjoy my retirement. I was threatened on the bus 4 times, nearly fell down, and I'm disabled. And I tried to address this. I'm trying to stand up, and I'm trying to stand up for public safety. And that's what I've been trying to do for the last 11 months. And I'm still working on it. But the mayor, I don't know what is going on. I've challenged him to a debate at the city hall, at the city council chambers, myself and him and all the city councilors, including Representative Mendez and State Representative Dubois, to sit there and we'll answer questions from the public. And the public will ask us questions, we'll answer the questions. And if the public, and let the public decide if they have a right to know. Like if you're a parent putting your kid on a bus to school, trust me, you want to know, and that information is very important of what's going on in the buses. If they could just see that, I've asked the city council to issue a resolution, the city council, to the full city council. And that would force BAT to come before the full city council and explain everything that's going on the buses. And I've asked them to have BAT bring in that one video of that kid from West Junior High School and let every parent in Brockton see that video. And trust me, if you're a parent, that video will shock you. You'll say, no, that can't be going on, but it is. And it's all on video. I call that the smoking gun, but BAT will not release that video. The city council will not issue that resolution to have BAT come before the city council. I begged and pleaded with the mayor. I personally spoken with the mayor a few times on this. And what the mayor told me the last time I spoke to him downtown, it was a parade, and he waved, hey, Mr. Ripley. And he came over out of the parade to talk to me. And I said, Mr. Mayor, what's going on with the BAT threat? And he said, oh, Mr. Ripley, Mr. Lambert, he's the administrator of BAT, has told me that, they have the issue under control. Everything's settled. The buses are safe. So I asked the mayor, well, has he told you about the phishing harassment clause in the bus drivers collective bargaining agreement? He said, oh, no, they never told me about that. And then he had to go off into the parade. But what that phishing harassment clause is in the collective bargaining agreement states that BAT does not have the legal authority to check the bus tapes of any tape that a guilty driver who's been found guilty of driving to endanger happens to be driving on any given day it's against the contract. It's called phishing and harassment. In fact, John Whitmore, he is the assistant general manager of that. He stated to me, I have the email right in front of me. He says, Mr. Ripley, I have explained our position and what we are allowed, get this now, allowed to do within the confines of our collective bargaining agreement with their amalgamated transit union, and what steps we have taken to coach, warn, and reprimand the drivers violating the laws. And we are bending the rule of needing to be tied to a specific complaint. And that's the best we can do and not be accused of phishing and harassment. But basically what that means is that if I'm a driver and I've been found guilty of driving to endanger and I happen to do it, say, tomorrow, and then I report it, and then the bus company, the management, is not allowed to check my driving behavior on any bus I happen to drive to see if I'm repeating that same illegal, dangerous driving behavior, which means that despite what BAT has told Mayor Sullivan, that they have the situation under control and the buses are safe, the buses will never be safe as long as that phishing harassment clause is in the bus driver's contract. And I also want to say that Mayor Sullivan, he's also the mayor of the city, and he's the chairman of the board for BAT's advisory committee, which has direct oversight of safety issues on BAT. And when I sent the mayor that email about the 13-year-old kid, the mayor never responded. He never responded to any of my 80 complaints. And even the threat against my life. There was a bunch of drivers who were plotting revenge against me if I didn't stop reporting their safety incidents. Now, BAT took a little action. They checked the video on the buses, and they all have voice control. So everything was heard, and they disciplined the vice president of their union. His name was Guy DiPierre. He's the vice president of the drivers' union. He told me they had a plot against me if I didn't stop reporting incidents, that they were going to come after me. Now, I mean, like anybody, I figured when someone says they're going to come after you, they're not going to come after me and shake my hand and take me out to lunch. They're going to cause me harm or come after me. I reported it to the police. The police was the Brockton police. They did an investigation, and they said, Mr. Ripley, they were only giving you a warning. They were not giving you a death threat. Now, I don't know what the difference is between the two, to be totally honest with you. But anyway, Mayor Sullivan, even after I sent him the threat against my life, as in his capacity as chairman of that advisory board with direct oversight of safety issues, he never responded to me, never contacted me at any point in time to talk about all these things I've been reporting. Never once contacted me. That to me is irresponsibility, and it shows me that the city is not taking the issue seriously. And I also received a certified letter from the city. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I don't have time, but basically that says yes.
No. You can. How long is it? I mean, you can read the main points.
2 paragraphs. It says, Dear Mr. Ripley, the city of Brockton, through multiple departments, is in receipt of your emails raising safety concerns about Brockton area transit. We are aware of your complaints that BAT drivers are not utilizing appropriate safety measures during passenger boarding and bus takeoff. Based on your concerns, the city and BAT have undertaken investigations and disciplinary action. We are aware that BAT has also contacted you to address these complaints and to inform you that they are actively working to remedy any safety concerns. Last paragraph. Although the city is actively addressing your concerns, you continue to send multiple emails per day to multiple city employees with the same concerns currently being investigated. Last sentence. The city, this is the kicker. This is the kicker. I got to explain this. I'll read it first. It says the city is unable to provide any response as this is a matter for BAT administration. Now, what that means is the mayor is saying that you got the Brockton Area Transit Bus Company. They're situated in the heart of this city. They're driving the streets of Brockton, the streets in this city. They're picking up unsuspecting drivers in this city, Brockton residents in this city, and they're threatening their life by their driving behavior. And the mayor has the nerve, or not, I'm sorry, not the mayor. This was from the city solicitor. Of course, he knows every letter that's given. Anyway, they're basically saying that it's not a city issue. And my thing is, if this is happening in the city of Brockton, the city of Brockton residents, that makes it a city of Brockton issue. Otherwise, the mayor is saying, well, I can open a business here in Brockton, and my employees can risk and threaten the safety of Brockton citizens, but the city can't do anything about it. It's not a city issue, according to the mayor. That is ludicrous, and it is wrong. I've stated this to mayor a few times, even in person. I've stated this to him, and I get no response from him. I don't know what it is. It's like the only analogy I can come up with is the mayor, for whatever, in my opinion, I told this to him in a letter and on one of my videos on my show, that Mr. Mayor, in my opinion, you have crossed the line, and you've become a clear and present danger to the people in Brockton who ride the bus. You're playing God, and you're gambling and risking with the lives of innocent children and innocent disabled seniors and pregnant women. You're risking their life. You're playing God, and you don't have the right to play God. What needs to be done. Go ahead.
No. So I watched your show. I watched your show.
I'm not a professional. I know I didn't do a great job like you do. I'm just a retired guy.
No. So I watched your show, and one of the things that you talked about was getting on the bus, being disabled, and the bus moving, and you almost falling over and having to reach out and grab the grab rail. And you want to just tell people kind of about that, because this is what kind of started this whole thing. And,
okay.
And
yeah.
talk about that first. Because here's the deal. I want you to get everything out before I speak, because I'm just going to let you know I'm biting my lip here with everything you're saying.
I want to answer every question.
Yep,
okay,
go ahead.
What happens is this: when you get on the bus, the driver many times, and I'm not lying about this, if they release these bus tapes, you'll see, before they even shut the doors of the bus, they're hitting the gas and moving the bus into traffic. Now, when they hit the gas, your body goes back. And you're trying to walk to the fare box and put your money in. I don't know if any of you have been on a bus before, but the slot to put your money in is a very thin. It's about the width of a nickel, and I'm not exaggerating that. And you're trying to do this on a moving bus while you're trying to carry bags from shopping at the store, and I'm disabled. And I'm trying to do all this, and I nearly fell 4 times. Now, BAT also has a policy, supposedly, I have it from John Whitmore, that if you ask the driver to stop the bus until you find a seat, they're supposed to do it. But I want to tell you what happened. I reported this about 3 months ago in an email to both the mayor's office and to BAT management, that I tried that with the driver. I told the driver, he was looking down into the dashboard somewhere doing something, and I said, please don't move the bus until I find a seat. This driver, and I'm not exaggerating this, he slowly turned up and looked me in the eyes, and he said, don't tell me how to drive this bus. I looked him right back in his eyes, and I said, don't move this bus until I find a seat. That's what it took for me to get this driver to do this. Now, keep in mind, I'm a very not aggressive. I'm someone who stands up for my rights, and I'm not afraid to speak up. Can you imagine the Brockton's immigrant community who largely ride the bus? Many of them don't speak English. They're afraid to speak up, and they're afraid to challenge, speak to management or speak to anyone in authority. Can you imagine how many people have maybe asked this driver to do this, but he was that threatening with them, and they got scared and just walked off and tried to hold on and try to find a seat? This is what's going on. And the bus tapes will prove it if they will release the tapes. Release the tapes, let the public see exactly what I'm talking about. And I've got so many incidents like this. Another one was the driver picked up some people at the market basket at Westgate Mall. This lady, she was the last one on. She was carrying a lot of bundles from the Westgate Mall. And she was standing there. The driver started moving the bus. She was afraid to move. She was frozen. Finally, this is while the bus was moving now. And she finally bent down slowly and put her bags down on the floor of the bus and got back up and tried to get her money into the meter box and finally got her money in. Now, keep in mind, she's 3 inches away from the driver, and the driver is oblivious to this. These drivers are very uncaring. Anyway, this went on for, I want to say, a good 3 or 4 minutes before the driver had to stop, and she could finally, go down and pick up her bags and sit down. But she was so scared. She was scared. I mean, she was so scared to move. And she's 3 inches from the bus driver. And I have many incidents just like this. I don't have time to go into every one, but there's so many things just like that are going on. And I don't know what else to do about it. I've done everything I can. See, I don't have money, so I can't hire lawyers and investigators.
I'm gonna tell you right now. First of all, you don't want to hire anybody. I'm just going to tell you right now, you don't want to hire anybody.
I don't understand.
Because I don't. So
Okay.
we got a lot of people in the chat. A lot of people are watching the show, and I've heard you. I've watched your videos. I've heard a lot from you. I've heard you.
And it's true. It's all true.
Hold on, and we're coming into my time now. I've given you 20+ minutes.
Okay. All right.
I saw your letters in regards to calling Bat or the mayor terrorists for not doing this, and
Can I explain that?
yes, please, because it's
What I meant on that was I was trying to think of an analogy to address this.
horrible
And
analogy.
when I said the
Horrible.
word deadly, that probably was wrong. But what that is basically doing is, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, what they're doing is they're picking up people in the city of Brockton,
Yep.
and then they're using their buses and their drivers to drive illegally, threatening people's lives.
Mm.
I don't know what else to call that,
So-
except I
So
used the term. Go ahead.
So we're gonna get into this because here's the thing. I like you, and I love the fire you have to bring this point out there. But I've been involved with transportation since I graduated 2 years out of high school. I got hired by the MBTA in 1986.
You mentioned that when I met you in Brockton, yeah.
Okay. I worked my way up from being a fueler to being a superintendent at the MBTA. I am now working for Paul Revere Transportation at Logan Airport for the buses, Logan Express buses, the Paul Revere buses. So when it comes to knowing stuff about buses, laws, and transportation, I know my shit. I can sit here and tell you right now, I know my shit. And and there's a lot of things that you're talking about that make no sense because there are some things here that are physically impossible to do. Now, we're gonna get into a lot of this, and I just want to tell you some of the stuff that you're putting out there and you're saying to people out here in the public, you're setting yourself up to end up having a suit against you for libel, for putting stuff out there, for not knowing the truth about why things are the way they are on buses and why they are the way they are in public transportation. And I'm going to hopefully this can open your eyes and get some things through to you why certain things happen. First of all, on a BAT bus, when you get on any bus, and I'm not speaking on behalf of BAT, I'm not speaking on behalf of the MBTA, I'm not speaking on behalf of Paul Revere. Right now, I'm speaking to you as Keith Hayes, who has over 30 years of transportation in the transportation industry in buses. Okay?
All right.
So, first of all, let's get into this disability. You said you're legally disabled, correct?
Yes, I have a bad knee and a bad my lower back. There's a name for what I have. It's
Okay.
a medical term.
Legally disabled. Now, there are certain things that they teach all operators across the country when it comes to disabilities. One of the things is that you should assume that someone does have a disability, but you also have people who have hidden disabilities. Now, there's a creed of code for people who are passengers every day and people who are driving every day. If you have, such as yourself, if you have a hidden disability and you get on the bus, and yes, granted, you need more time to get to your seat, yes, you do have to request that, and you do have to tell that driver. You have to let that driver know right out the gate. So first of all, you have to tell them. You have to say, okay, I'm disabled. Can you please allow me time to get to my seat? The reason why you have to say you are disabled, that driver's going to know right away that you're disabled. Federally, he has to allow you your time to your seat, because you know why? Because tons of times people are just going to get on the bus and say whatever, and they hear this crap all the time. There are things that we have to do as our part. And being disabled, that's one of the things that you have to let a driver know, so that driver can allow you that time to get your seat, to get to your seat. It's the same thing as going into a restaurant and having an allergy. You have to inform those people that you have an allergy so you don't get allergens in your food, or they can tell you, hey, all our food's cooked with this, you might want to go. So as a disabled person, it is your responsibility to let that driver know, hey, I'm disabled, I'm legally disabled, I need time to get to my seat. Okay. Now you talked about. Nope. Let me get into this. Okay. All right. So then you go on and you talk about this story with the kid on the bus and in the front of the bus, and you talk about the buses move. I see you talking a lot about buses moving with the front door open. I'm gonna let you know something right now, Mr. Ripley. That's impossible. It's impossible for a bus to move because every bus is federally regulated to have a door interlock switch built into the braking system. Why? So the doors in the bus won't move when the doors are open. That bus will not move until the doors are closed. When the doors close, the brake interlock releases and the bus can move. You can override that when you're at a track for a crossing, for a train crossing, because legally they have to open their doors before crossing the track. But I can tell you right now, there's a door interlock switch override that has to be engaged in order to move the bus. I'm a mechanic. This is how I know. In order to get buses back after an accident, we have to go in and you have to change the interlock in order to get the bus back. If you have an issue with low air or if you have an issue with the braking system, the door interlock does not allow that bus to move when the doors are open. So there's a little bit of inconsistency there with your story on that.
I agree. But what happens is when I said the doors are open, what I mean is as soon as you step on, before you can hear the doors or see the doors shut, they're hitting the gas. That's what I meant. I didn't mean the doors were left open for 20 minutes.
Okay, see,
I didn't mean that. And also, as far as
hold on. I let you speak. Okay, because the way how the door interlock works, okay. Even after you shut the doors on a public bus will still not move. You have to press the brake pedal and to press the brake interlock at the brake in order for the brakes to release and that bus to move. That bus, if that bus is moving and you open those doors on the bus, you know what's going to happen? The brake interlock kicks in, the bus will slow down, and the bus will stop, and then those doors will open. The brake interlock does not allow that bus to move. This is and here's the funny thing. You go on and you're writing all these letters and you're saying all this stuff to these people, and I don't know why not one person has not explained all this stuff to you, because here's the thing. People get on the bus every day, and there's a lot of instances every day on these buses, and you talk about this and that. Look, there's 5 cameras. When you step on that bus, before you even get into the interior bus, there's 5 cameras. There's one on the friggin' windshield that records the street, one that records from the front of the bus to the back of the bus and the driver. There's a PTZ when you get on, stepping in. There's a PTZ on the corner channel of the bus, and there's a PTZ in the driver's section. There's at least 5 cameras. I don't know what's on BAT, but I'm pretty sure there's 4 to 5 cameras. Now, on our buses, we have the Samsara system, okay? The Samsara system, and most of us have all of this in there right now. The Samsara system monitors the drivers for harsh braking. So if they hit the brakes too soon or don't let the retarder do the work, it sends us a harsh braking notification. It tells us when drivers run stop signs. It tells us when drivers run red lights. For you to say that the union, this phishing and phishing harassment clause. Yeah, you've got that clause all wrong. Phishing
I have it right here, and I have it here.
Hold on. Hold on. You're interpreting this wrong, though. Phishing and harassment is totally different than for investigative purposes. If somebody gets hurt or if there's an accident, trust and believe me, they can go to the cameras and they can search those cameras for what they need to know to exonerate the drivers. And I'll give you a damn great story about cameras within buses, okay? Cameras popped up on buses after 9/11, because after 9/11, every transit company in the country got money to put cameras in buses and trains and all of that. The first thing the unions did when cameras were put into buses, guess what they did? They didn't want them. They wanted to fight the cameras. They didn't like the cameras. They wanted to file grievances on cameras, right? Within the first year of cameras being on buses, you know what the union learned about cameras? The cameras exonerated more drivers than hurt drivers, because before cameras were on inside and outside the buses, You had a lot of fake claims, false claims. You had people who would drunk drive, wreck their car, call up the T and say, hey, your bus on Ruggles hit my car is damaged. Guess what? There was no proof. So the T would just have an automatic amount to just pay out because it wasn't worth fighting in court. Once they had cameras installed, things were exonerated. Nope, that bus didn't hit your car. We checked the cameras. You had assaults on drivers. Can you let her out, please? You had assault on drivers, and they allowed those drivers to that were assaulted before. It used to be a he said, she said thing.
Okay.
Drivers loved it. Eventually, drivers loved it. The one thing the union noticed is if you did something bad on camera that you shouldn't have done, you deserved it. In this case, you said you had 80 cases that you put together, and some of those they did find people in the wrong. Some of those they did find people wrong. Some of those people probably did get disciplined. But here's the thing with discipline, you have what they call progressive discipline. But sometimes with disciplines, and I can't speak for BAT, I don't know how BAT does their disciplines, but if you commit an offense, you have progressive disciplines. You have a verbal warning, a written warning, a 1 day, a 3 day, 30 day. You can skip the disciplines depending on the offense. But if you work a year and a half or so, those disciplines can roll back. So somebody that might have got disciplined a year ago for something, their record could be clean 2 years later because they haven't committed an offense. So that doesn't mean they're ignoring you, they're not taking care of it. That person may not have did anything. You have progressive disciplines. Okay. Now, go ahead. I'll let you in once because I got a lot to say.
Okay, two things. Well, first of all, when about the fare boxes. Now, what the vast majority of the incidents I reported were the drivers are illegally moving the bus,
and they're not.
Hold
on. Let's get into this because they're not. They're not illegally.
There's a yellow line on the floor of the bus. They're not allowed to move it.
Hold on. The standee line. Let's get into the standee line. All right, the standee line. This is where you also are getting confused. The standee line. Yes, if a driver moves that bus when somebody's in front of that line, they're going to be in the wrong. They're going to be disciplined accordingly.
That's what the fare boxes are. The fare boxes are in front of the line, and people are standing there trying to hold on for dear life and put their money in.
And those drivers, I'm going to assume, were probably disciplined or were probably spoken to. It's not moving that bus in front of that line, is it? But I have heard your videos, and I've heard you talk about people being within the bus section and the bus still moving past that line. I've heard you talk about that on your show.
Well, they're trying to find a seat. Yes.
Right. Here's the thing, and you're wrong. The standee line right here states, which is a federal regulation. This is a commercial federal regulation. This isn't because you say it's a mass law. It's not a mass law. This is a state nationwide law for every bus. Do you know what the reason of the standee line? Do you know what the real reason for the standee line is for?
I have to say no.
Okay. You're making all of these claims. You're writing all of these letters. The reason for the standee line is because it's to protect transportation bus companies from frivolous lawsuits, okay? One of the things that I know about are people who do slip and falls in frivolous lawsuits. If you change this rule in the commercial federal regulations for buses, and you take this rule away, guess what's going to happen? You tell me what's going to happen to every bus company across the country if you don't have that standee line law in the nation.
No, they'll be standing up in front of the driver.
Nope. You're going to have people falling and slipping and hurting themselves and suing bus companies because the bus is moving and so forth. Hence the reason for this standee line. Okay, the reason for the standee line.
The emails I have from John Whitmore.
And here's the thing about the emails. I don't know why nobody's even told you all of this stuff, because a lot of this stuff would have ended this craziness that's going on. The bus standee line is there for a reason. I have seen. Do you know that we have people in public transportation who are professionals? These are people who make a living slipping and falling and doing stuff on buses so they can sue bus companies to make money, because they know bus companies are going to try to keep this out of court, and they're just going to write a check. Okay, so the standee line, one of the reasons for the standee line is to separate that situation. So this commercial federal regulation, you're right, They're not supposed to be in front of that line.
Can I read you one sentence? I have this email from John Whitmore. He says, just to clarify, the bus is not to be moved until all passengers have cleared the standee line.
Right.
Now,
that's right.
How do you interpret that? How do you interpret that?
That's exactly how the law reads. So once they clear that line, the bus can stop moving. You want to know why that bus can stop moving once they clear that line? Because I heard you talk about it on this show, and you were not aware. But I want to get into that before I get into this, because now...
One more quick question. On this stand, it says here not to clear the standee line. Now, the fare box is in front of that standee line.
And we've already got that.
All my emails where they're moving the bus there, that's wrong.
We've already got that. And like I said, those drivers were probably spoken to. Those drivers were probably disciplined. All right, but that doesn't mean that it's a threat to society. It doesn't mean that somebody's going to do this or that. Those drivers will be handled with and will be dealt with if they were moving that bus.
Doesn't it mean that the city of Brockton has a right and a duty to inform the people so they know?
No, the city does not. BAT has that right first and foremost. And if the city goes to BAT and says to BAT, are these drivers being punished the way that they should be? And the BAT says, yep, here you go.
How come Mayor Sullivan is chairman of BAT's advisory board, who has direct oversight of safety issues? And why can't he do something? He's a mayor of the city, plus he's the chairman of BAT's advisory board that has direct oversight of safety issues. He knows the people all over the city. His constituents are getting on the bus every day.
But BAT has to handle.
But hold on. They have a right to get on the bus safely.
But everybody has this right, but there are also rules and regulations that you're completely messed up on. You're talking a lot of stuff, and it all sounds good.
I'm not a lawyer. I never said I was a lawyer.
Exactly.
I've addressed it with the city,
hold on. And this is why I'm trying to let you know. You have to be careful with what you're putting out there, because you are setting yourself up for being hit with a libel suit, because some of the things you're saying is crazy without knowing this. All you have to do is look this up. So now this is the Mass Department of Public Utilities that I put up here for everybody to see right now. The Mass Department of Public Utilities, the DPU. This is the Mass Laws for Public Transportation. Number 11, safe operation. The driver of a bus shall all time conform to the laws of the road defined by the statute and regulation. The driver shall not operate at a speed greater than reasonable proper. Most buses now, they have a thing that will trigger if a bus is over the speed limit, and it will let you know. The driver shall keep the bus under control. All doors shall be kept closed while bus is in motion. Like I said, the door interlock. Chris Gagny, he's a bus guy. He can let you know. There's no way that bus is moving with the doors.
I explained that. What I meant was, as soon as you step on the bus, the doors will still open.
Hold on. But the thing is, Richard, when you said what you said the first time, trust and believe me, everybody who works in the bus industry, we were like, there's no way. There's no way. Every bus, per federal law, has to have a bus interlock system on it to keep the bus from moving when the doors are open. Okay, number 13, this is the Mass Department of Public Utilities. Attention to duty. Generally, no driver of a bus shall collect fares, make change, receive a discharge while passenger in the motor. This is what you were talking about. This is what they're not supposed to follow. This right here is, if it's happening, trust and believe me, those drivers are going to be disciplined on that by BAT. It's not Mayor Sullivan's duty. It's not the city council's duty.
I have to disagree with that. I have to disagree with that, because if you're a disabled citizen like myself, or you're a young kid on his way to school, or to visit his grandparents, or if you're disabled, and Mayor Sullivan was elected to serve the people, and if he knows for a fact that there's a danger on the bus to people in this city, then he has an obligation to inform the people so they can be aware and be prepared for what's going to happen and protect their lives and the lives of their children. I passionately believe that. He has a responsibility to act because he's responsible for the people's safety. If you know there's a threat, in fact, the city did their own investigation. I read that. You need to tell the people. The people have a right to know.
But the thing is, there hasn't been a threat found. There hasn't been anything of the magnitude that you claim just by reading. And like I said, this right here explains exactly what you said. And like I said, those drivers.
Keith, are you telling me that if you're the parents in this city, if they would have viewed that bus tape with that 13-year-old kid stuck at the front of the bus in front of the windshield.
And like hold on, but like I said, hold on, let me speak. I gave you your time. That is one, dude. That is one incident, one trip. Do you know how many trips? Hold on. Hey, hold on. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. You know why? Because anybody who knows public transportation or takes public transportation, do you know how many trips buses make per day? Do you know how many people ride a bus per day?
That makes 558 per day from Brockton to a location and then back again. And now, can I ask you a question?
So you have, hold on.
Do you honestly believe that I'm the only person, I'm on the only bus in the city that this is happening on? It's happening on a lot of buses, but it's not being reported.
Hold on, you're doing.
The people in Brockton are afraid to speak up.
Richard, I gave you your chance. Let's get into this even further, okay? Are you aware of the law in regards to standing people on the bus? Are you aware?
If there's not enough seats, yes.
What's the law? Do you know what the law is?
Well, from what I can gather from the emails from John is first of all, some people like to stand.
No, that's not Richard. That's not what I'm asking you. Do you know what the law states in regards to people standing on the bus while the bus is moving?
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take it. No. Okay. So the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities, the law for standees is that passengers cannot be no more than 25% of the seating capacity of the bus, which you'll never get to. In other words, most seats can sit 39 people. 39 people. You can't have more. You can't have more than 20. No, you're not going to fit any more than that, because that's how 25 people in excess are allowed to stand on that bus while that bus is moving. Okay, 25% by law. See, and this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people could have let you know this, and you wouldn't be looking the way that you're looking right now. Hold on. No. Let me finish, man. Let me finish, okay? 25% of the passengers can be standing on that bus. 25% of what the bus holds. Now, you talked about people going this way and that way and trying to grab. You know the grab rails that you talk about on your show? It happened to me.
Okay. You know that grab rail that you're talking about? Do you know that grab rail is there for a legal reason? It's written into the federal regulations for buses. It's written into the Mass regulations for buses. In the Mass Department of Public Utilities, number 26 and number 27. All buses are... Let me finish, man. It's not I did my homework. I work in this industry. I've been in this industry for over 30 years. Every bus must be equipped with grab handles at the doorways and grab handles for the standees. The up and down grab handles from above are called stanchions. Stanchions have to be supported in a certain way. They also have to maintain a certain grade to be able to hold a certain amount of weight. Those grab rails that are put into place on buses and trains are there for legal reasons. This is part of the law to also cover the 26 line right here that you all see, the 25% in passengers. So my thing is I don't know why nobody's even pulled you aside. My thing is that we have people that go out, and what they do is they're mystery riders. Mystery riders go out and they ride, and the drivers never know who they are, and they write up what they find. Now, I can tell you right now, I write up stuff because I'm in public transportation. So I've written my couple of letters to BAT every now and then. I've got the signs keep getting missing from my stop, so I write my signs up that somebody did. They answered me right away. Are there some things that I see drivers do and shake my head at? Oh, trust and believe me, there are some things that I'm on a T-bus in the Silver Line. I see guys blocking traffic as they shouldn't be. I see guys blowing through yellow lights as they really shouldn't be. But the thing is that I've seen your show. I've seen some of your letters. And I'll tell you right now, you got to be real careful, because you just came on this.
I thank you for that. But let me tell you, I have emails from when this started from, her name was Kelly Forrester.
Okay.
She's the operations manager. And she sent me a few emails, and Michael Damon, he's the general manager of BAT. They send me emails, and I can show them to you, where they state to me, Mr. Ripley, we're taking this seriously. We're planning an all-staff meeting of every driver in person. We're going to go over this. We're going to put up postings in the break rooms. We're going to make announcements every day. We're going to drill it into their heads. And then 2 days later, the same things are happening. Same with Michael Damon. I told him about this. About one driver did 4 incidents in about 10 minutes. He investigated it. He said, Mr. Ripley, you're right. I've personally spoken to the driver, and it won't happen again. Okay. 2 days later, the same thing is happening. This is what went on and on and on.
Well, I know
some drivers just don't care.
Well, they get disciplined. Trust me, I'm pretty sure they do. And I'm not sure if discipline's a public record. I don't think discipline's a public record. I can't speak on that. I believe all that's sealed stuff anyway.
Okay, but the bottom line here.
Hold on. Let me, because I let you speak, man. I let you speak for 20 minutes, and my thing is that
leave me 2 minutes to respond.
Okay, I've been on BAT buses. I know that they have signs on the bus telling people.
You can't see them. You can't see them when you get on.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can see them. I can see them. The signs are above every seat. I can see the signs. One of the signs.
When you're walking on the bus, you can't see it because you're not looking for it. You're looking at the fare box to pay your fare. You're not looking for it.
But the sign is in the seat once you sit down.
Once you sit down, but not when you step on the bus. It's not visible when you step on the bus. When you step on the bus, you're not looking down the aisle. You're looking at the driver. You're not looking over here to see a sign.
Okay, and do you know there's a reason why there's no signage in that driver's? Do you know that there's a reason why there's only certain? Because there's only certain signage that's supposed to be in that area, like the sign.
Why don't they hand out pamphlets on the bus?
Hold on, let me speak, man. The sticker that tells you about the standee line is sticker that's required by law. It has to be there. The stickers when you come on that tells you that there's cameras on this bus and the cameras are recording, those are there. All the legal stuff that you need to know as a passenger are there for you when you get on the bus. All the legal stuff. Anything that's considered PSA, awareness, and all of that stuff has to be placed on the sides of the buses where the seats are. There's a method to the madness. You're going on and on and on, and you have no idea how the machine works. You have no idea how there's a reason for all this stuff. Like I said, there's a reason for the standee line. The standee line's reason is to cut down on frivolous lawsuits so transportation companies are going belly up because everybody and their brother. And I'll tell you a situation. We had a situation at Logan Airport. An older black lady, she's getting off the bus, okay? Now, if you're not me or somebody who's in the industry, this older black lady, she's getting off the bus. She's got her carriage in her suitcase and stuff, and she gets off the bus, and she falls off the bus. From anybody who has no knowledge of looking, it looks like she falls off the bus, and her husband rushes and helps her, and everybody's looking, right? The woman gets up. When she gets up, she pulls her phone out. She steps to the front of the bus, takes a picture, steps on the bus, and takes the picture. Now, you and anybody who doesn't have any knowledge is going to say, oh, man, I feel sorry for that poor woman. I hope she wasn't. Guess what? You know what that is right there? That's one of these people that I call professionals. They do these things to sue. When I saw it, the first thing when I saw that lady get off and take the picture of the number of the bus and then come on and take the number of the bus on the inside, I'm like, she's a pro. She's a pro. Her and her husband go across the country and probably do this. She's a pro.
There are people who do that. I have no doubt about that.
And that is the reason for the standee line. And here's the sad thing. Here's the sad thing, Richard. If you were to go to court over this, right, and they put your butt to the fire in court on this, they're going to bring all this stuff up that I just showed you, why they have reasons for, and you're going to lose your ass in court. You're going to lose your ass in court, and they're going to make you look bad. And that's why everybody keeps pushing this off and pushing this off. I saw you were trying to file criminal charges in regards to some of these matters.
A civil complaint.
Go ahead. No. You did criminal charges because they told you to talk to the police department, and you wrote letters to the police department that you posted. You posted those letters.
I said that I was seriously considering filing a civil complaint because that would force the city or BAT to come into court and explain what's going on before the judge or the jury. That was my
Chris
reasoning behind that.
Chris Gagne is asking, why does this man... Chris Gagne was a mechanic with me at the MBTA. He's sitting here. He's probably like, Jesus.
Okay. Can I respond to what you said
Go
before?
ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I want to try to get across to you what I said before. When you're stepping on the bus for the first moment, you're not looking to your left or to your right for the signs all over the bus. You're looking at the bus driver and the fare box. So you're not seeing those signs that give you any information. You're not seeing that. And another thing, let me speak. The majority of the people in Brockton are immigrants. The people who ride the bus, the vast majority are immigrants. Many don't speak English. Many are afraid to speak up. Many don't know the law. They think when you get on a bus and the driver suddenly hits the gas and you got to hold on for dear life, they think that's totally normal in the big city. They don't know it's against the law. I'm asking the mayor or someone in the city council to step up.
But hold on. Let me hold on again. Again, you're talking about people, this and that, moving while the bus. That's not against the law. I've already just told you. BatBus has bilingual signs on their buses. They do have signs for all different. They do have four languages.
You can't see them when you get on the bus.
You're not supposed to.
Hold
on. Did I not just explain to you why you don't see those signs when you step into the bus?
Yeah, you did explain it. But if that's true,
so
why don't they have pamphlets they hand out on the bus? You could grab a pamphlet and have the information in your hand.
Pamphlets are available inside the BatBus Center terminal. Anything that you wish.
Not on these issues I've spoken about. They're not, because I've been to Bat Center and it's nothing.
Okay. Well, on their website, I'm pretty sure they have these things. They have these things on the inside of the bus. I've seen them. When you get on the bus and sit in your seat, they have these things on the bus that says, if you have a disability, let the driver be aware of your disability. So
no,
they know.
It doesn't say that.
Yes, it does.
If you need more time to find a seat,
Richard, I take the bus every day. Right now, the BatBus is free till Memorial Day. I work at Logan Airport, okay? I take the BatBus every morning from my house to the BatBus City Center, and then I take the Ashmont to the Red Line, and take the Red Line to the Silver Line, and take the Silver Line to SL3 to the Chelsea Garage, and I walk to my job from there every day till the month of May. All right. So I'm going to personally take a picture of the sign in the BatBus that tells you if you have a disability, you are to let the driver know, so the driver will allow you more time to get to the seat. And I'm going to post it right on your Facebook page. It doesn't use the word
disability. It doesn't use the word disability.
Yes, it does.
All it says is if you need more time to find a seat, ask the driver to stop the bus. It does not say the word disability.
I thought you just said there was no sign.
It says doesn't say disability.
No, you had said there was no seat.
It doesn't say disability. There are signs that say if you're disabled or handicapped, I don't know what they'll find you a seat on the bus. But the sign that they have above the seats, it does not say disability.
Richard, stop it. You sat right here and you just said there was no sign. I said there was no sign that said disability. There's no signs that say disability. All it says is if you need more time to find a seat, ask the driver to stop the bus. That's right.
It doesn't say if you have a disability.
But you just said there is no sign. There is a sign, and that sign is for those who are disabled, to let them know.
That's not what the sign says. The sign says if you need more time to find a seat, ask the driver. It doesn't say if you have a disability, ask the driver. It says if you need more time. Now you're interpreting need more time as meaning disability. I don't know
that would be a person that would be a person with a disability, and anybody who's legally disabled with a wheelchair, or anybody who has a bum leg, or a brace or an amputee, they have to let the driver know. One of the things is drivers can't assume on hidden disabilities.
How are people supposed to know that? You know that because you drive a bus, but the average ordinary person getting on a bus in the city of Brockton doesn't know anything about all these laws you're saying. That's why the city or BAT needs to have pamphlets explaining and informing the people so they can be safe and protect their kids. And the disabled person doesn't have to try to slip and fall and hold on for dear life.
A majority of people who take the bus, a majority of people who do, they do this. And, okay, I got a lot of people in the chat. I got to address some of the stuff that people are saying. Andrea Fernandez says, they can't say that if you have a disability, because what if you don't have a disability and you legally need more time? because you have a child. You can still ask that. And you're right. She said she's saying why they can't say disability because they want to cover everybody on that sign, which is correct. That's the point I was trying to make, Andrea. A person with a disability
I asked the driver to stop, and he wouldn't do it. He looked me in the eye and said, "Don't tell me how to drive the bus."
And
that's
he was,
policy doesn't work.
And guess what? He was wrong. That driver was wrong. It's just like hold on. Let me speak, Richard. It's like the point with a gas station. A lot of people who have disabilities they're not aware of this at a gas station. Here's the thing. Oh, William Atwood in the chat. He says, if you are legally disabled. Now, Billy Atwood is a good friend of mine. He lost his leg due to diabetes. Billy Atwood is legally disabled. He's in the chat. He is saying, if you are disabled, it is your responsibility. You should know all the rules concerning you. Bam! Bam!
Yeah, but I'm not.
Thank you, Bill.
You'd have to hire a lawyer at $10,000 to tell you all this. I don't have money to hire lawyers. Neither does the immigrant population of Brockton, who are low income and poor. They don't have thousands of dollars to hire a lawyer to tell them what the laws are.
I don't know why you keep going on about the immigrants, but there are a lot of things.
Are you denying that Brockton's not a majority immigrant city?
We're a melting pot. We've got Haitians,
Guatemalans.
We do.
And most immigrants, they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to speak to anyone in authority. They don't know the law. They just accept things the way they are. Don't tell me no. That's the truth.
I wouldn't say that. I've worked and dealt with a lot of Haitians and
but anyway, the only thing. My point is, there's a problem on the bus. Everyone's admitted there's a problem. So all I'm asking is the city to step up and issue some kind of.
And they're not. Richard, listen to me. Richard, they're not gonna step up. They're not. The city is not gonna step up because they got you yourself, and I'm just gonna put it blunt. You've got yourself out here looking like a crazed man over this whole situation. You do. And I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart, and I'm just keeping it fucking real with you. I'm just keeping it real with you.
I'm trying to stand up and protect people.
Richard.
Get them safety.
I got you. You're trying to stand up and you're trying to protect people. But if you're trying to stand up and protect people, you have to get and do. One of the things I say on this effing show is do your homework.
I don't have money to hire lawyers to tell me anything.
You don't need to. Dude, if you're looking for rules and regulations on public transportation, search the DOT. I can send you the links to the DOT. Read up on it. Read up on those DOT.
You can't believe what you see online.
Yes, you can.
And it can be interpreted in different ways.
Stop it, Richard. Stop it.
It can be interpreted in too many different ways.
If you go to DOT.gov, that is the legit. DOT.gov is the legit federal website. And if you go to any .gov involving the buses, you can pull it up. To be honest, we can end this right now. And as soon as we get off this show, I can send you the links to the Massachusetts DPU rules for buses, and I can send you the link for all the commercial federal regulations for buses that I just showed you in regards to the grab rails that you had no idea are legally on the buses for that. You weren't even aware of how many standees are allowed to be on the bus. 25%.
Okay, go ahead.
25% of the people are allowed to stand on the moving bus as long as there are grab rails. If there are no grab rails in place, you can't operate that bus with people standing. If there's no grab rails, that bus is that's illegal. That's the illegal action. If there are grab rails and stanchions on this bus, for that bus to move, those people can most definitely stand. It is up to them to hold on. Anybody who gets on this bus, they know. Now, I heard you on your show. I heard you talking about, you're talking about this disabled thing. You were talking about it was hard for you to maneuver because of baby carriages and this and that. Here's the other thing, too. You're saying your heart is in the right place, yet you stomped all over the rights of those who have their own rights. One of the things that you're unaware of, years ago on buses, when a mother got on that bus with her carriage and her baby, guess what they had to do? The regulation stated that they had to take the baby out the stroller, and then the stroller had to be folded up, and Chris Gagne and Bill Atwood will tell you all about this because it went down while we were working at the T. You had to fold those up, and you had to keep the baby in your arm, and then you fold it up. Because why? Because they needed room. Guess what happened?
I don't know.
You had a bus accident, and now babies go flying because a mother can't hold on to their baby, or the bus has to stop short, and the baby is dropped because the mother can't hold on to him. So guess what law is now? Guess what the rights are? The rights now is that a woman gets on a bus with a stroller. That stroller, the baby stays in the stroller, and that stroller is to be secured with the wheelchair securement straps, so that stroller doesn't move, or they're to lock the wheels. But at that time, a mother has the legal right to keep that baby in the stroller. So when you're on your show and you're ranting and raving about having to maneuver around women with baby carriages, you look in the wrong on your show.
If they release the bus tapes, you'll see I told the truth.
Okay, but that's the thing you were ranting about, and you had no idea.
Because what is a disabled person supposed to do? I'm carrying groceries from Market Basket. I'm looking. He's moving the bus. I'm looking down there. There's no way to maneuver around. You got baby carriages. You got shopping carts. You got people taking all this stuff on the bus, and you can't get around there on a moving bus and to maneuver around. So what? Either I fall or the baby gets hurt. So who decides who gets hurt? Who's right there?
Chris Gagne says it right there. The ADA laws are there to help all. The ADA laws are there to help all. And if you want to know about what your rights are as a passenger, there are rights out there that you need to know, and you should make yourself familiar with the ADA laws. Andrea Fernandez says a lot of times if you just talk to the driver can help you. Yep, we've already discussed that, Andrea.
Yep. I said on my show today, there are a lot of very nice drivers. They're careful, they're pleasant, they're easy to talk to, and they really care about the drivers. But there's a group of drivers who don't care. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is I can show you the document. His name is Paul Pierre. He's the vice president of the local 1547, the union. He told me in his own words, and they heard this on the bus when they disciplined him. He told me the drivers have been doing this for so long, moving the bus, that it's a bad habit that they cannot break. And they need more time to stop doing that and driving legally. That's his words, not mine.
Hold on. Hold on. And I'm going to talk about bad habits. These drivers and bad habits. Yeah, you do have drivers who do bad habits over and over and over. And eventually what happens is the progressive discipline kicks in and their asses are fired eventually. Their asses end up fired eventually. All right, so the union rep will tell you this, and that's true. And like I said, also in the steps of progressive discipline.
If the union representative knew that the drivers were plotting revenge against me to come after me, he had an obligation to call the police or report it to his supervisor.
But you have to have proof on that. You can't.
They reviewed the bus tapes, and I can show you the email. They checked the bus tapes, and every bus has voice control. And all they said was, "We disciplined Mr. Pierre according to our standard operating procedures and our collective bargaining agreement." That's what they said. Those are their words.
He was disciplined. Mine. He was disciplined. End of story.
Did he report it to the police? You can't threaten to kill somebody and not tell the police.
Richard. First of all, you said what he said, and he didn't specifically say he was going to kill you. But I'm
sorry. I shouldn't have said that. What I meant was,
thank you.
If the vice president of the union,
Richard, let me speak. Then you also said, was he disciplined? In your own words, you said he was disciplined.
They said he was, but I don't know what the discipline is. Knowing that the drivers are plotting to revenge against somebody.
You don't need to know what he got for discipline. All you need to know is that that driver was disciplined. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you anymore. Nope, it doesn't.
Doesn't it bother you to know? Let me ask you. Doesn't it bother you to know that the vice president of the drivers' union is aware that the drivers are plotting to revenge against somebody to come after him, whatever the definition of what after him is, and not report it to the police?
That's a steep accusation, and I can't speak for your thoughts on that. I can't. That's a whole different thing. That's a strong accusation, but I'm just letting you know. There's a lot of stuff you're putting out here that you could be held liable for. And you could lose your shirt or whatever you have. I'm just telling you could lose it. And you got to know your laws. You just came on this show.
I thank you for your help in saying that. But like I said, all I'm trying to do is what my little bit to try to protect everybody. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. I'm just trying to stand up and get some protection for a parent putting their kid on the bus. I think if you're a parent and you're putting your kid on the bus, you have a right to know everything's been going on with BAT over the last few months, all the violations. That's important information.
And my problem is that a lot of this stuff could have been ended with the simple, you know what I would have. So here's my thing. I was a superintendent at the MBTA. I was a superintendent. Okay. If I was in BAT Bus, and if I was superintendent, I can't speak for them. This is what I would do if I was in that position at BAT. I'm Keith Hayes, superintendent of BAT, and you're sending letters to everybody and their brother. You know what I'm going to do as a superintendent? I'm going to call you up.
Against me? Take me to court?
No, because I'm going to do like I did with you. I invited you to come on this show, and I'm letting you know what is right and what is wrong. If I was
I made mistakes.
Hold on, Richard. Let me finish, man. Let me finish. If I'm superintendent of BAT, I'm going to say, okay, this guy cares. At the end of the day, you care about what you're saying, okay? I'm going to ride along. I'm going to take time out of my day, 2 hours, and we're going to ride the system together. And I'm going to have you point out the things to me that you think are wrong or you think is right.
They offered to do that.
Come on, bro. They did offer that to you?
Yes, but the drivers know who I am, so they're not going to do anything wrong when I'm on the bus.
Trust and believe me. The drivers who are going to do something, they're still going to do. Trust. I've been in this business a long time. Trust and believe me. Okay, but that's what I would do with you. I would pull you in and make you feel trustworthy of the system. Somebody asked if you have a legal. Andrew Fernandez is asking you if you have a legal disability. Why aren't you using the Ride a Bat service?
Because I can't afford it. I live on a Social Security check. My Social Security check is $1,005 a month. That's all I live on. That's all I have. And you can't go when you choose to. You have to go by their rules. You have to call them in a certain period of time. If I have an emergency and I got to go, you don't have time to call because you're going to give them a day's notice.
See, I thought they changed the way that they do their service now. That's the new thing that they're promoting with Ride a Bat.
Unless I was given the wrong information, that's what I was told.
Because I think I just saw one of the Ride a Bat buses, and I thought that there's a whole new way to do that. It is what it is. Wow, we're at 8:12, and I still have a lot of my show left. Look, Richard, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. Andrew Fernandez says the fare is the same as a regular bat.
No, it's not. It's more money to take the. You're talking about Dial-A-Bat. Dial-A-Bat costs more money than a regular bus.
Ride a Bat. See, there's two different types now. If I'm not mistaken, there's one now. It's different, and I just saw the sign. So hold on, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Brockton Area Transit, Ride a Bat.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know what
so
I haven't heard of that.
Fixed route lift. Door-to-door lift, fixed route, population served, ages, okay. Follow us, contact us. You may want to check into Ride a Bat. Because the thing about public transportation, one of the things I can speak for, it changes. It's night and day. It changes within 24 hours. Rules, regulations, routes, things change often and frequently. I know at Paul Revere, we're constantly changing terminal stops because the terminal airlines change to different locations. So Christopher Gagney is asking, if you're having so much trouble with public transportation, why aren't you just using Lyft or
Well, let me quickly explain that. I'll go fast. I was having really bad problem with my knee. The doctors fixed my knee, so it's okay. Before, I couldn't walk more than maybe 3 or 4 blocks with too much pain. That's when I was taking the bus all the time. But now, in the last 6 months, my knee's a lot better. I can walk up to 5 miles a day now before the pain starts. So the more walking I can do, the more my knee strengthen, the muscles in my leg build up. And
trust me, I know all about it because I got hit by a car. Hold on. I got hit by a car on February 10th last year. February 10th, I got hit by a car crossing the street. I had a fractured knee, a torn ACL, a torn MCL, and a strained PCL. I had a brace for 6 months. I had surgery on my knee in the end of June, June 28th, my son's birthday. I went in for surgery. They scraped all the bone fragments out. They repaired my MCL and ACL. And I had, thanks to Family Rehab Clinic in Brockton, I went to rehab from them from February. I just got out of rehab as of November, to the point where my rehab now is making sure I walk 3 to 4 miles a day. So, you know, as a person who was on crutches, as a person who couldn't get around, and I was taking the bus. I had lost my driver's license because I couldn't pass my DOT physical for my Class A. I was taking the train and taking the bus everywhere, and, you know, if I needed time, I asked for time. I had a brace. You know, I'd let people know. The thing is that you have to let people know. My thing is here, before I let you go.
Give me 2 minutes before I'm going to get off the screen, if you could. Do I have starting now?
Yep.
Okay, let me ask Mr. Gagne or whoever you have there with the Bat Bus Company. Is it proper procedure for when the mayor of Brockton, who's also the chairman of the Bats Advisory Board, to know about all this and never contact the resident who's calling? Never set up any public meetings. Never call him. Tell Mr. Ripley, I'm sorry this happened. Let's have a meeting. Never addressed it at all.
I've already answered it, and here's we have levels. It's not going to get to the mayor because your complaint, your problems, isn't at the mayor level of BAT. That problem that you are having, that problem should be handled by the highest person at BAT. It shouldn't even
They don't do it.
Hold on.
I called Mr. Lambert and I asked him, what is BAT's policy for knowing when there's a safety threat on the bus to notify the public? He refused to answer. I had to file a Freedom of Information Act
because
to force him to respond.
And here's what I'm trying. But here's what I'm trying to tell you, and this is what everybody should tell you, because I'm going to tell you it because I have experience. It's not a safety threat. What you're putting out here is not a safety threat. And you want to know how they can prove that it's not a safety threat? Because if they are disciplining people, okay, you're allowed to have a certain percentage of your workforce be disciplined, okay? If you have 1% or less of your drivers committing a certain offense, guess what? You're going to have that 1%. You can't do anything. If you have more than 1%, if you have 5 to 10 to 15% of your drivers doing a certain infraction, guess what you're going to do? You're now going to tell your training department to start training drivers and touch base on this issue because we're seeing a rise in complaints on this issue.
Okay.
If they're not seeing,
so let me ask you one question then. Do you honestly tell me that if you're a parent in this city, and if you know your city leaders, your mayor, your city councilors, all know for a fact, all done their investigations and admitted the threat is real, that the parents don't have, the city doesn't have a right to issue some kind of warning to the public to let them know?
And you have to be very careful with what you're putting into people's mouths and words, because you're saying that they're admitting to a threat, but I've seen every email that you posted from everyone. And every email that I read that you posted, not one person, they've addressed your issues, they've handled certain issues accordingly, but not one person has backed your words as saying that there is a threat and risk to the public. Future threat.
So what they say is they reviewed the tapes and my version of events or whatever terminology that they use is correct.
People have been disciplined.
The drivers. I don't know what that means, but
you want to know what that means? That means that they took your complaint, they investigated that complaint, that person was disciplined, and now your complaint is closed.
But don't the people of the city have a right to know? So when they're getting on the bus for the last 6 months that they've been all these violations have been happening?
As long as you know that driver. Now, let's just say, said driver commits a third or fourth offense and then something happens. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to go back to his discipline record. They're going to pull his discipline record and see how many times this person's been disciplined. And if this person has committed so many disciplines, then what you usually do is skip over and say, okay, we can't have this anymore. This person's going on a 30-day suspension, and they're going to be recommended to fire. That's how the T did it.
Michael, that's what Mr. Pierre, the vice president, must have meant when he said if the drivers receive their fourth disciplinary warning or letter, they will be terminated and they will come after you.
Well,
So that must have been what he meant.
I'm not getting into that, terminating and come after you. But see, you dude, Richard, you're contradicting yourself, because right there you just said the union rep told you four disciplines.
If they get their fourth disciplinary letter, yeah.
See, you're leaving. Oh man, Chris Gagny, thank you, Chris. The chain of command. The chain of command. Thank you. That's why it's never going to get to the mayor's level. You know what's going to happen? I can tell you right now, because I was a superintendent at the MBTA, and guess what? If it gets to the mayor, you know what happens? The mayor's secretary calls the person at the T who's supposed to handle this and say, "Hey, what's going on? This person called the mayor. You need to handle this," and then that person handles it.
Okay, well, let me tell you, I talked to MassDOT. His name is John Schiavone. He's the director of Mass Rail and Transit, I think they call it. I have two conflicting emails from him. In one email, he says to me that BAT is an independent organization. No employee of BAT has anything to do with MassDOT.
Right,
MassDOT has no control over what goes on at BAT. But
hold on. Let me break it down for you. And this is the other part that you're getting twisted and where you're getting confused. The MBTA operates because it has money coming from federal taxes and money coming from city taxes. So they have to answer. So MBTA has to answer to the Mass DOT. The reason why BAT
spending the money properly, but the day-to-day operation of BAT.
You're not. Stop it. Listen to me. BAT Bus is a private transportation. It's not funded by the government. It's a private bus company. It's not government.
It's not
government subsidized.
It's
exactly. Thank you. So there are certain rules and regulations that they fall under because they're a private company. They're regional. They don't fall under a lot of the strict stuff that the MBTA falls under, which gets money from the feds and the state. Okay. That's another thing.
You know who Winthrop Councilman Winthrop Farwell is?
I know Winthrop Farwell. Yeah, I know Winthrop very well.
He sent me some emails. He said, "Mr. Ripley, just what you just told me. You have to talk to MassDOT because MassDOT has control." I tried that. I called MassDOT, and MassDOT tells me they don't have any oversight. So I called my state representative, Rita Mendez, and she said the same. And her office did an investigation. And MassDOT stated, I don't have it in front of me. I can get it for you. MassDOT stated that they agree that with what BAT has done, and they don't think that any public announcements need to be made. Now, how can you have a threat on the bus?
It doesn't. It's not a threat.
The people who ride the bus have to be aware of it.
It's not a threat.
So it's up to the people to be aware for themselves.
It's not a threat.
It's up to the people on the bus to look for this before they get on the bus.
It's not a threat.
Okay.
So here's the thing. You have a driver in his public-owned personal car who has. We just have one. We actually just had one. We had a woman this past weekend. She was drunk. She drove through the school bus and hit a kid in the street. This woman, she drove through the school bus. The school bus was stopped. The sign was out. The child was crossing the street. This lady ran the kid over while he was crossing the street. This lady was driving on a suspended license. She was drunk, and her suspended license was for a previous OUI. All right?
OUI with the
operating under the influence. Okay. Again, no one knew who she was. No one knew her record. No one knew that she's had multiple offenses over the years. This is going to be her third offense. Okay, so this is how this is right. But this is how this works. Christopher
so you're saying it's up to every bus driver. It's up to every bus passenger in the Brockton that before you step on a bus, check with a lawyer, check DOT, and check the regulations.
No, just do your. If you take the bus every day and you feel that strongly, you should know. I know if we go down to the BAT Bus Center, the main office, they have a lot of pamphlets for riders and stuff there. They have stuff on their website. Chris Gagny says if you do have some issues, the DPU could possibly help you out. That's the Department of Public Utilities. That's the stuff that I put up on screen that you could see. But there are a lot of things out there. So Again, if you're gonna do, I can't wait to see your next show. After being on this show, because I got to definitely watch to see if you learned anything. I'm gonna send you some links, Richard. I'm gonna send you some links.
I produced the show today. It won't be on air until Friday night. So.
Okay, so that one that's gonna air is gonna be before the show. So I'll wait for the show after that. I'm gonna send you some links, and Richard, I want you to do your homework. I need for you to look a lot of these links over. Look this stuff over and check it out.
I will. But I before you end, I want to say I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm trying just passion. I don't want to see an innocent kid get hurt. That would be the most worst thing in the world that could happen because the city didn't come. Now, the city, as I said if you listen to my episodes, the city and the city council, they don't need any permission to make a public announcement to be careful on the bus. They can do that on their own with their own power. They have the authority to do that.
Andrea,
just be careful. Just be careful on the bus. If the driver moves the bus, ask them to stop. Can't they issue that kind of a statement? That's not. Their lawyers can come up and say
they've got signs. They've got signs. I'm going to take a picture. Andrea Fernandez says in the chat, the service that I was thinking about is called Bat Flex service. It works like Uber and Lyft. It's an app. It's the Bat Bus Flex. Remember I was telling you there's a different, because I seen it on the sides.
I don't know anything about that. I'll look into it.
Yep. So it's Bat Flex. That might be something for you. She says they go to Rockland, as far as Rockland. So that might be something for you, is to look into the Bat Flex service. It's like Ride-A-Bat, but it's more like Uber and Lyft. You call them, they come to you and pick you up. That's kind of, and that would. So again, Richard, I want to thank you for coming on. Before I let you get out of here, tell them how they can watch your show and where they can watch it.
All right. Well, it's on. I'm going to start doing it once a month instead of every 2 weeks. It's on Brockton Community Access Channel 9. I produced it on a Monday, so it comes on the Friday and Monday at 7:30 p.m.
And
again, it's not a professional thing. I'm not a professional. I'm just trying to do my little bit to try to help to protect public safety, let people know. So it's not like your shows where everything's done right and professional. I'm just a normal guy trying to do something. But I really want to end by saying I truly, honestly believe that in the year 2023 we're living in, that if the mayor of your city and your city councils know for a fact that there's a threat on the bus, how can they sit in their offices every day knowing that their constituents could be the next tragedy on the bus, when all it would take from them is to simply say, okay, look, everybody, please be careful on the bus. If the bus driver tries to move it, just ask him to stop. Would that be so terrible for them to do?
Well, so here's, and before I let you get out of here, God forbid if there is an incident on the bus and something does happen on the Bat Bus in the near future, and what if they go and check the driver's record and the driver's record's clean? This is a person that hasn't had any disabilities. Because I've had drivers in my years that have killed people, that have hit people. I've seen it all. I've seen it all in my 30 years. I've seen bike riders who disrespect the roadway rules and end up under the backs of tires.
Bike riders?
No, bicyclists. There's a huge bicyclists are another big problem for buses. They're one of the biggest headaches for buses. What do you say then when the driver doesn't have any disciplines or anything? It's a good driver. What do you do when it's a good driver?
Well, all drivers make a mistake every once in a while. I'm not saying they have to be perfect, but when you have the same drivers, because I've seen multiple drivers doing the same thing, so it is multiple drivers. But, I don't know. I just want to end by saying, I'm just trying to do the right thing and protect people. I'm sorry if I've upset some people, but I just so passionate about this. I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
I've seen some of the people's comments to you, and I feel I'm like, y'all got to stop. Y'all got to leave this man alone. Here's the thing, Richard, and I'm going to tell you right now, I know how this city and people work. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people that you've been writing letters to, and they're going to watch this episode. I can tell you right now, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I know there's some people watching this show, and they're saying, Keith Hayes worked at the MBTA. He now knows, and I've just told you a lot of stuff to clear up a lot.
You gave me information I didn't know about. And
please listen, please listen, because I can tell you what's going to happen right now. If you continue on the path that you're on, they're going to use this show against you. I could tell you right now, because they're going to say this person told you this, and they're going to say, and they're going to use it against you. I know how this industry works, man. And I'm just telling you, I'm not patting myself, like I said, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I know, I have knowledge. Robert Sullivan himself knows my credentials when it comes to the MBTA and things of that sort. And like I said, the crazy thing is everybody's passing the buck on you. Everybody, when you write to certain people, everybody's passing the buck because they just don't want to answer and set themselves up with the wrong answer. They're going to pass it along to the next person. Like I said,
when I ask the city council and the mayor and Mendez and Rita Mendez and Michelle Du Bois to answer a simple question: do the people of Brockton have the right to get on a bus safely without the bus driver illegally moving the bus and threatening their safety? That's not a perfectly legitimate question for them to answer, because none of them will answer that question. But what is so bad about that question?
Remember, be careful, Richard. Remember, I've already proven to you that.
No, you told me your version of it. You're not
my version.
Lawyer?
Not my version.
Are you a lawyer? You're not a lawyer.
I told you that it's impossible for that bus to be moving, for the door open, because there is a door into.
I said when they step foot on the bus, the driver hits the gas while the door is shutting or while it's still open. I'm not saying it stays open for 20 minutes. It's open when they first step on. I'm gonna tell you.
I would love to take you down to bat and show you where you were wrong. Because I can tell you right now, that bus will not move until the doors are shut, the driver depresses the brake pedal, and the brake interlock releases, and then that bus moves. Anybody who's in this chat,
I understand. I believe you believe what you're saying, but
here's the thing.
The bus doors open.
Richard, and before I let you go, I can tell you behind your back, I can tell you the union and BAT is probably telling the people from City Hall or whoever and asking them if this is possible, and they show them, they let them know that this is impossible, and guess what? They're gonna wait for you to hang yourself. And I'm just letting you know. You gotta be careful. You're passionate about this whole thing. I get it, but don't make yourself take the information I'm giving you and really, really focus and look at it. I'm gonna send you some stuff. If I had to, I would bring you to my garage and show you exactly where you're wrong. I could take you on the bus and show you exactly. You know?
No, I understand. So, look, final question: when someone gets on the bus and they're standing at the fare box, which is in front of the yellow line, it's not illegal for that driver to move the bus while they're standing there.
If they move that bus while that person's ahead of that line, and this is one of my gripes, I have this big problem, because if that bus door shuts and they're moving that bus and that person's ahead of that standing line, that's not supposed to happen, and the drivers will be disciplined. Hold on, and the drivers will be disciplined because there's a ton of cameras in the front of the bus. But here's where people sometimes get it twisted with the drivers. I've seen trainers training with drivers and be standing ahead of that line while training drivers. Realistically, they should also be behind that line, and they can still converse with the driver and teach the driver and show the driver things. That standing line is there for a reason, in case you have to stop in there. And it's also, again, it's there to stop the frivolous lawsuits of anybody stepping inside that bus and falling down and then collecting $1 million and breaking BatBus, because BatBus is a private company. You have three people.
Because the majority of my 80 complaints of just that, you're getting on the bus, you're standing at the fare box, and the driver's moving the bus, and you're going to try to hold on for dear life. That's what the majority of incidents are. Yeah. That's my whole point I'm trying to make with all these complaints.
Once they're behind that, they've got the required by law grab rails that they're supposed to grab.
But you're missing. You're not saying what I'm saying. I'm saying the majority of my 80 complaints is when the passenger is standing at the fare box in front of that yellow line. When I say majority, I mean probably 60 of those 80 complaints are with passengers standing at the fare box.
And I can't speak on that, but they did answer you on
that. That's why I want that to release the tapes. Yeah, that's a smoking gun. Show the public what's going on. Prove that I'm right, that they're moving the bus while they're standing in front of the line. What do they have to fear about that? If you think you're right, it's not happening, I'm lying, or I'm old and I'm not seeing correctly, release the tapes and prove me I'm wrong. Let me see the tapes. Let the people in Brockton see the tapes.
Well, I know what they did. They let you know that people were disciplined. But I want to thank you for coming on the show, Richard.
All right.
And hold on, I got to take a quick break. I'm going to be back. I got to close out the show. It's 8:35. I'm going to be right back after this. Here we go. Hold on.
All right.
Me and my soul 是这样来算精彩，我的脑该从哪个角度或怎样对待我？快濒临现实，坐哪个位置？困在 me and my soul， 在这个圆圈，现实是界限，我想要兑现。却不停说出很多抱歉，我道歉。问这个世界规则怎么琢磨 ？No， 到底谁又真的懂我 ？Yeah， 我道歉。Keep running, keep running， 有一天你懂得会。灭哦，但不在这个世界，我会让世界变更加的美。Me and my soul 是这样来算精彩，我的脑该从哪个角度或怎样对待我？快濒临现实，坐哪个位置？困在 Me and my soul。
All right, it's your boy Sin Swarm broadcasting live from the City of Champions. We are back here in the booth. I got to thank Richard Ripley for coming on the show. I got to thank everybody in the chat, and I'm going to send him some links so he can kind of wrap his head around some things and give him some knowledge. But I got to bang out this show. It's 8:37. I knew this was going to go long. School committee meeting is probably over by now. It was at 7 o'clock. We got to see how that turned out. In the legal booth, the felon, hold on. That wasn't supposed to happen. In the legal booth, I hit the wrong button there. That was my bad. In the legal booth, the judge that was attacked by this guy here, F around and find out, who was sentenced and jumped over and did this whole thing. He was resentenced today. He had time added. As you can see there, he wasn't jumping any railings and desks to get at the judge. he was not getting at that. Also, let's get into the entertainment booth. And I don't know why this keeps happening. I don't need this to keep coming up. I gotta figure this out. I don't know why this keeps happening. And I've got a smoke alarm going off. What the hell is going on? I've got the smoke detector going off in the house. Hold on. All right, my house is not burning down. We're all set now. 8:40. I gotta get out of here. NWA is going to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. Art, recognizing art. I'm pretty excited for this. I can't wait to see how they do this, and how they represent Eazy-E. I wonder if little Eazy-E, his son, is gonna do his stuff for him. It's gonna be interesting. LG at the CES, world's first 4K wireless transparent TV. I was gonna show the clip. I'll save it for next week. I'll show you guys next week. And then tonight, Echo debuts on Disney Plus. You guys have seen the trailer. Kingpin, Daredevil. Look. The fight sequence on this show. There's a fight sequence between Daredevil and Maya. It's a single shot, 6 minutes long. Now, those who haven't watched Daredevil, MCU, some of the best fight scenes in the MCU is on the show Daredevil. Those Netflix MCU shows were gritty. The fight scenes was crazy. In the first season of Daredevil, there's a one-shot scene where he takes on the Russian mobsters and fights them in the hallway. It's right up there. It's probably one of my top 5 fight scenes in television history. MCU's probably got 2 in my top 5 because the Punisher fight scene in the jail cell scene in Punisher. Actually, I think that was Daredevil. I don't even think that was on the Punisher. I think that was when Punisher was on Daredevil, I think. But that was a crazy fight scene. Patriots lose to the Jets this past weekend, 17-3. They close out their season. 4-game wins, 13 losses. Everybody's talking about Belichick being fired. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I know Tom Curran and Jay Glazer are sweating because they thought they both were saying he was done. He was fired at the end of the season, and that hasn't happened yet. So I know Jay Glazer and Tom Curran are sweating. In the legal booth, and I'm not gonna hit that because I got to figure this out. In the legal booth. Trump lawyers avoid Seal 6 question. This was a question about the president being able to order an assassination on a political rival. And if they have the same Congress, they can cover that up and make sure he's not impeached or held accountable. And I don't like how they're using this whole Trump type thing because let's be real here. If you would throw on our conspiracy hats, our government has put assassinations out. Let's be real here. Let's be truly real here and put our tinfoil hats on. There's been times where people have been low in the polls and they've caught not political rivals, but they've caught terrorists and people of sorts to get their political numbers up. We've seen that. There are some conspiracy people who would say that the FBI and the CIA also killed some political rivals when you start talking about the Kennedy brothers or you start talking about Martin Luther King, whose day is coming up on Monday. I'm just saying this isn't new, people. This discussion isn't new. We're no different than Russia, except we're just cleaner about it. That's it, man. We had a great show. Richard Ripley, I gotta thank you for coming on. Holy Christ, we went over an hour. I had to educate the guy. I'm sorry. But these are the outro banners. I want to thank everybody who helps out the show. Get these up here. And I want to thank everybody involved with the show, helping out the show, and got a couple of things I got to fix. I got some stuff that's not working right now, and I got to figure out why. But I got to get ready to get out of here. It's 8:44. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and hanging out. Richard Ripley, I'm going to be sending these links to you. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Y'all made some good points to help out. Andrew Fernandez, Chris Gagne, Billy Atwood. A lot of good points. A lot of good points, everybody in the chat. I want to thank everybody for tuning in the show. It's been good. It's been great. It's your boy, Sinister One. SpongeBob, do me a favor. Take us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production, hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, keep this shit on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's whoism.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.